steamroll into like Indians dominating the grappling scene, but it's only going to happen one step at a time, one event at a time. But this time, it's going to be 100% Indian officials. Excellent grappler. He's coming down with his team, so they are going to be someone to look out for. To do really well at ADCC India, we are going to send you to the Asian trials in Singapore.
Siddharth, welcome to the Q and A series from LockerRoom India. So how's it going there? We are just days away from ADCC India Open in Goa. So how are the preparations going and how is stuff there?
Yeah, so the preparations, so we've got the third edition of ADCC India happening. We've done ADCC Indian Open in 2019. That was in RD Mall in Gurgaon. That was the first edition. The next one was the big one, which was the Indian National that we did in DLF Mall, Saket. And now this one, post the pandemic, is the one that we're doing in Goa. It's the first time ever we're doing it in Goa. And it's always been a dream of mine, to be honest, to be doing an event right next to the beach. And New Year's time as well. Like, it's absolutely incredible. I always wanted to spend New Year's in Goa, next to the beach, BJJ next to the beach. It's just a dream come true, man. We're very excited about this.
So how did this all come together? Like Goa, New Year, how did it all come together for ADCC?
So yeah, there were a few factors that played into it. I mean, one of the reasons was that I wanted to do an ADCC once every year at the very least. The ideal scenario would be 2 events per year in India. One would be an Indian Open, where even the foreigners can come, and one Indian National, where only Indian nationals can do it. But because of the pandemic, we didn't do events, since the last one in February 2020. We haven't done an event. So it was almost going to be 2 years. So I wanted to do it either in the end of December or beginning of January. And then also the news that the new variant, Omicron might be coming end of January, beginning of Feb. So that sort of forced me to do an event early. I said, okay, things are still not bad in India. Cases have barely started. This is a chance to really put on a good event. And so I spoke to a lot of people in Goa, and we got sort of lucky that that Riva resort, aka Mandrem Beach in Goa, they were doing an MMA fight night on the 31st. So I spoke to them. We had a collaboration. And yeah, they're our venue partners, so we'll be doing it inside the resort, right next to the beach. So it's going to be pretty epic.
Awesome. So before we get to the specifics of ADCC India Open Goa, so there must be a vision for ADCC India before you went out to start this project. So what is the vision of ADCC India, and where do you see this helping the grappling scene in the long run?
So when we talk about grappling as a sport, as a professional sport, ADCC is, the biggest name in the world of grappling when it comes to tournaments. Like for MMA, UFC is the top. Same thing for grappling, ADCC is the top. It's the pinnacle. And one of the frustrations that I've seen is that in the ADCC World Championships, no Indian has ever competed. Not because, maybe because we weren't very talented, because it's again very new. The sport is very new in India. So our grapplers are getting good, but they haven't reached that level yet, at least in the past. Now, I think what's happening is grapplers are also getting good. As of, December 2021, grapplers are improving their skill set. And also now there's a clear path for an Indian fighter to go to the World Championship. So the objective was, let's start ADCC India. The best fighter from ADCC India each year is going to be sent by ADCC India to the Asian trials in Singapore. So the next Asian trial is going to happen in May, around 28th to 29th of May. So our objective is, through this next event, is to find the best fighter and sponsor him and send him to the Asian Championship. We did, that's what we wanted to do for the last event as well. But after the last event, lockdown happened, Asian trials never happened. So we couldn't do that earlier. But now this time, we're really hoping to send one of the pro fighters for the Asian trials. And so how does one go to the World Championship in ADCC? Let me just explain it in case people don't know. So ADCC has different weight classes. It has a minus 66 kg weight class, minus 77, minus 88, minus 99, and then over 99. So those are the weight classes. Now, some fighters get invited. So the world's best grapplers get invited to the tournament, but the others have to fight to get an invitation. So there are trials that happen in North America, South America, Europe, Asia. So in each continent, there are trials that happen. So Asian trials happen as well. And that's where, ADCC India wanted to, have a path for an Indian to get there. So if you do really well at ADCC India, we are going to send you to the Asian trials in Singapore. And if you win ADCC Singapore, you go to the World Championship. So now there's a clear path for an Indian to hopefully make it to the World Championship sooner rather than later.
Awesome. So coming back to the Goa event, so how can one register for the event, and what's the registration fee, and what's the process for registering?
Sure. So we've tied up with a website called SmoothComp. SmoothComp is one of the world's best platforms for running events. So we're the only event in India that's ever worked with SmoothComp. All the big major tournaments, they go through SmoothComp. So we work with SmoothComp. So all the fighters can go to SmoothComp. It's very easy. You can register yourselves. You can register your academy if your academy is not registered. And once you've filled up on the details, all you have to do is there's a number where you can Paytm the registration fee and send a screenshot to a separate number. That's the entire process. Because we found that last time we used PayPal and we used other platforms, people just were struggling a lot. So we made it Paytm or Google Pay this time, and you can send a screenshot to us and we'll register you. So very simple process. And now, though, because it was, we're so close to the tournament, we had 3 phases of registrations. We had an early bird discount, we had a regular fee, and now as we head into the last 10 days before the event, now it's late fee. So people can still register, but now it's the late fee which is applicable now. But yeah, we will have registrations open till 31st December night.
Awesome. So are there any specific categories, like are there any age limitations, or are there any weight categories that the people can look out to?
Yeah, so we just from this year's perspective, I did not do a kids category. So there's no under 18 this time. We'll do it next time. So for kids, unfortunately, this time it didn't go through. But for men, for first, I can explain you. There's a beginners category. So if you've been training for 0 to 2 years, you should be competing as beginner. If you've been training between 2 years and 5 years, you should be intermediate. And if you've been training for more than 5 years, you should be doing pro. And there's different rule sets for each. There are different techniques which are allowed or not allowed based on which category you're competing in. So yeah, the 3 categories, and the weights, like I told you, it's completely on the Asian trials. So minus 55, minus 66, minus 77, minus 88, minus 99. In India, unfortunately, we don't have too many people over 99. So we're not doing that category. For women as well, again, from our experience, last time there were not so many females who are competing. So we've made only one category. We've called it beginners, but it's really just one weight class where it's minus 50 kgs, minus 60 kgs, and then plus 60 kgs. So 3 categories and all in beginners.
Awesome. So you spoke about that under-18. So that was one of the questions that we got on the Instagram poll. So that was like, when is the under-18 tournament going to happen? Is the question there. So what's the answer?
Yeah, and I'll tell you the answer for that. Firstly, I'll tell you why we didn't do it. We didn't do it because we have to understand the world we're living in. We are living in a pandemic. And my understanding is there still isn't a vaccine for people under 18. So honestly, I would want to have all categories, kids and everybody, but my conscience would not allow me to have kids there if by any chance, someone is infected. I don't want to have that in my conscience. So that's the reason why, I didn't want to have kids. Honestly, I really felt very bad about it because I know how talented these kids are and there's such a big opportunity for them. But again, for me, the health and safety of our participants is the number one priority. So that's the reason why we didn't go ahead with 18. So, maybe the pandemic goes away in 6 months. Maybe there's a vaccine for under 18s. Once that's taken care of, we'll definitely have under-18s as well.
Fingers crossed on that. Awesome. So you said that this is the last phase of registration. So you must be already having a lot of teams coming in. So could you tell us about some? I understand there are international teams as well. So could you just tell us like what are the teams that are already registered for it?
So when we talk about Indian teams, you've obviously got you got Institute of Jiu-Jitsu, which is signed up. You've got Crosstrain Fight Club that's signed up. So all the major teams have representation. So we're excited about that because we want to get as many gyms and teams as possible. But what I'm excited about is also there's a team coming from the Maldives, and I've been talking a lot, trying to coordinate with their embassy to make sure they are able to come to India safely. So there's a big team from Maldives coming. We've got a team coming in from Nepal as well. Lock and Roll MMA. So one of my friends actually, Divi, excellent grappler. He's coming down with his team, so they are going to be someone to look out for. And then we have a couple of grapplers coming in from Dubai as well. So I'm very excited because I think we've never had an opportunity to really compete with foreign fighters. And every time through ADCC we get foreigners coming in, it's a brilliant opportunity for Indians to test ourselves against the people outside.
Awesome. So if someone in Goa wants to drop by and watch the action, like is there any procedure? Is there any tickets available for this, or can they simply watch?
There are no tickets available. It's an indoor venue. However, it's indoor and outdoors at the same time, where the venue is made in a way that it's MMA cage wall outside and the arena is inside. So people can watch outside the cage. They can all watch the action from the outside. So there are no tickets needed. You will need tickets at about 4 o'clock because at 4 o'clock, the reggae party starts right outside our arena. So hopefully we'll wind up the fights by 4 o'clock and then we're going to go and party. Everyone's going to party at 4 o'clock at the reggae party.
So there were some couple of more questions that we got. One question was like, any update on ADCC Northeast? That was one of the questions.
Yeah, it's a fantastic question because before we did this Goa edition, we were working on a Northeast Open, but then the Corona happened there as well. Delta variant reached there. The time we were planning it, Northeast didn't have the second wave at the time. But as soon as we planned it, the cases started to increase, so we had to put it on hold. But that's definitely the next one. The next event is going to be in the Northeast.
Okay, so that was another question. Like, when is the next event after Goa? Like, is there any timeline that you have planned, or is it still in the process?
We've got so many plans. We've got so many options. Like ADCC is going to be hands down. We already hands down are the biggest name internationally. In India as well, we've showcased that we are not just a one city tournament. We've had Gurgaon, we've done Delhi, we're doing Goa. My plan is to do an event in Gujarat also. So Northeast, Gujarat, Calcutta. These are the places I'm looking at. So don't be surprised if we come to a different city every time now in the next events.
Awesome. So that before we close, if you had like 1 minute to tell about ADCC to people who are watching or people who are interested, like what will you tell them?
So what I'll tell them is, it's, and I can say it both as a competitor as well and as a coach. It's very important for us to support events like ADCC, because it's an opportunity for us to test ourselves against not just the best in India, but also the best in the world. I am constantly going out and competing abroad. Me and even my students, we go out, we compete, and it's not even, I can't even explain the difference in the quality of competition that we face outside. When I go for the World Championships, the level is just a whole new level. Which can't be explained. I can't explain it. You have to feel it and experience it. And I would encourage all the competitors to go out and compete. But because of financial constraints, people can't. That's why when an event like ADCC happens in India, within India, and foreigners are coming down, you definitely have to go and test yourselves. Because to be honest, if the best are coming to India and you're not taking part and you're not testing yourself, then when you go out, you're going to be in for a huge shock. So big opportunities here. ADCC is, a household name in grappling. We are trying our best to make sure that we do the best events we can. Do come and support us, and yeah, if you help us support us, we'll come to your city, we'll do more events and more experience for you guys, and hopefully that'll steamroll into like Indians dominating the grappling scene. But it's only going to happen one step at a time, one event at a time. And again, one last thing is this time we are not able to fly in, like for all our events. First event we had about 10 officials we flew in from abroad, because I didn't know the basics also. I needed people to come in and help out. And the last event, again, we had a bunch of foreign referees who came in. But this time, it's going to be 100% Indian officials. All the officials that have been getting trained for the last 3 years will get to test themselves. So it's a big challenge for us. I want our young team to really, respond. And I want everybody to see that Indians not just are good grapplers, but they can also organize really good high-level quality events. We don't need people from outside to come and help. So that's sort of my goal. It's developing, not just fighters, but also entire atmosphere and a system where we are holding some of the best events in the world.
Awesome. So Siddharth, all the best for the event. It's just 10 days away. So all the best for the event and looking forward to it. Do you want to add anything before we close?
Nothing really. Like I would love for the grapplers who want to know more, if they want to know about the rule set of ADCC, if they want to know anything details, then we can for sure share more information with the participants, because ADCC has a different rule set as well. So if they want to know more, we can do another session on the rules of ADCC, how are they different from other rule sets. But yeah, we are here to help. We are here to help the participants, give them a platform, and whichever way we can support, we'll support the fighters.